As the power of warrior kings grew, rivalries between the great Yoruba states intensified. Oyo, Benin, and the coastal kingdoms competed for dominance, and soon skirmishes turned into full-scale wars. Traders, once free to move between the cities, now faced peril as armies clashed on the roads. The Uni of Ife, seeing the growing discord, called for a great council of kings. He urged them to remember their shared ancestry and the wisdom of ODUDUWA. Some heeded his words, but others saw the meeting as a mere formality, their ambitions already set on conquest. In the east, Benin emerged as a formidable force, its warriors trained in both strategy and combat. Under the leadership of its ambitious Oba, the kingdom expanded rapidly, absorbing smaller territories and fortifying its capital with massive walls. Despite their shared heritage, tensions between Benin and the Yoruba city-states grew. Ile-Ife still commanded spiritual reverence, but Benin sought to assert its independence, forging its own identity as a powerful empire. A prophecy emerged from the Ifa priests, one that spoke of a house divided against itself. It warned that unless unity was restored among Oduduwa's descendants, a great calamity would befall the Yoruba lands. Many dismissed the prophecy as mere superstition, yet discord only deepened. Alliances shifted, betrayals mounted, and the once unbreakable bond of brotherhood seemed destined to collapse. A conflict erupted, known as the War of 100 Chiefs. Lesser rulers, seeking greater power, defied their overlords and waged war against each other. The once mighty Oyo Empire struggled to contain the chaos, and Benin saw an opportunity to expand further. For years, the land was engulfed in strife, weakening the kingdoms that had once stood strong. The gods watched in silence, waiting for a leader wise enough to restore balance. In the midst of turmoil, a leader arose from an unlikely place, a young prince from a lesser-known lineage of Oduduwa's descendants. Guided by visions from Orunmila, he sought to reunite the warring factions, preaching the need for unity and the wisdom of the past. Through diplomacy and carefully planned battles, he began to mend the broken alliances, drawing warriors and chiefs to his cause. His efforts marked the beginning of a new dynasty, one that promised to restore the Yoruba lands to their former glory. Determined to end the cycle of war, the new ruler traveled to Ile-Ife to take a sacred oath before the Uni and the gods. There, he swore to uphold the legacy of Oduduwa, ruling with justice and wisdom. The priests of Ifa blessed his reign, and with divine favor, he set forth on a campaign to restore order. His name would be remembered for generations, a beacon of hope in a time of darkness. But before true peace could be achieved, the young ruler faced a test unlike any other. It was said that the spirits of past kings and warriors would judge his worthiness, appearing to him in a vision during a sacred ritual. For 3 days and nights, he underwent the trial, enduring visions of past mistakes and the suffering of his people. When he emerged, his resolve was unshaken, and he declared, "The past will not be forgotten, but it shall not chain us. We move forward with the wisdom of our ancestors." The last remnants of resistance gathered for a final confrontation. Some warlords refused to yield, believing only strength could rule the land. In a climactic battle, the forces of unity clashed against those of division. The gods seemed to favor the young ruler as his forces triumphed, breaking the hold of warlords who had prolonged the suffering of the people. The Yoruba lands were finally at peace, though scars of the conflict remained. With war behind them, the Yoruba people focused on rebuilding. Cities were restored, trade routes reopened, and temples rededicated to the gods. The Uni of Ife reaffirmed the spiritual authority of Ile-Ife, ensuring that the wisdom of the ancestors would not be forgotten. A new council of kings was established, ensuring that never again would the land be torn apart by unchecked ambition. The descendants of Oduduwa had learned from their mistakes, and a golden age seemed within reach. As generations passed, the story of Oduduwa remained at the heart of Yoruba identity. His journey from the heavens, the creation of land, and the struggles of his descendants became the foundation of their history. Even as new challenges arose, his legacy endured, shaping the destiny of the Yoruba people for centuries to come. With peace restored and the kingdoms flourishing, a new challenge arose. Not of war, but of prosperity. Wealth flowed into the cities, and trade with distant lands brought riches unimaginable. But with wealth came greed, and with prosperity came complacency. The Council of Kings, once united in purpose, now bickered over trade rights and territorial influence. The Uni of Ife, still the spiritual guardian of the land, warned against pride and forgetfulness, reminding them of the lessons of the past. Yet many rulers, drunk on power and riches, ignored these warnings, setting the stage for new trials. Beyond the borders of the Yoruba kingdoms, foreign forces watched with interest. The northern warriors, envious of the wealth of the south, began planning incursions. In the west, new trading rivals emerged, disrupting the long-established flow of commerce. Internal strife and external threats converged, threatening to undo the hard-won stability. One night, a warning came in the form of an Ifa priest's vision. An enemy would strike when least expected. The Uni called upon the Council of Kings, urging them to prepare. Some heeded his call, strengthening their defenses, while others dismissed the prophecy as mere superstition. The prophecy came true when an army from the north laid siege to Oyo, one of the most powerful kingdoms. The attack was swift and ruthless, catching the city unprepared. Warriors fought bravely, but the enemy's tactics were unlike anything they had encountered before. Desperate messengers rode to Ile-Ife, begging for divine intervention. The Uni led a sacred ritual, calling upon the spirits of Oduduwa and Oranmiyan to guide the defenders. Inspired by ancestral strength, the warriors of Oyo rallied, breaking the siege and driving the invaders away. But the battle left scars, reminding the Yoruba people that unity and vigilance were the keys to survival. While the inland kingdoms faced threats of war, the coastal regions experienced a different kind of challenge. New seafaring merchants arrived, bringing goods from lands beyond the horizon. The Ijebu and Itsekiri kingdoms prospered, mastering trade and maritime power. Yet with foreign trade came foreign influence. Some rulers welcomed new ideas, while others feared the erosion of Yoruba traditions. The Uni of Ife called for balance, warning that while progress was necessary, it must not come at the cost of identity. The Uni of Ife, guardian of Yoruba tradition, faced his greatest test. As power shifted among the kingdoms, some rulers questioned whether Ile-Ife should still hold authority over them. Whispers of rebellion stirred, and some kings even sought to install their own priests as spiritual leaders. In a desperate moment, the Uni journeyed to the sacred grove of Oduduwa, seeking guidance. There, he fasted for 7 days until a vision came. Unity could not be forced, but must be chosen. Returning to his people, he called for a great gathering, where the Yoruba kings reaffirmed their commitment to their shared ancestry. Though divisions remained, the Uni's role was secured once more. To heal old wounds and mend strained relationships, a great festival was declared. Every kingdom sent representatives, and for the first time in generations, rivals sat side by side, breaking bread and speaking as one. This festival became a tradition, held once every 7 years. Though political rivalries would never disappear, this event served as a reminder of their common bloodline. The Yoruba people had learned that their greatest strength was in their unity, not in their swords. As the festival continued, an old priest spoke a final prophecy. The land will rise, the land will fall, but those who remember will never be lost. His words echoed through the halls of Ile-Ife, a reminder that history was cyclical. Strength would come and go, but wisdom would always remain. Inspired by this, scholars and scribes began to write down the oral traditions, preserving the story of ODUDUWA, the descent from the heavens, and the creation of their world. These records ensured that future generations would always remember their origins. With trade, culture, and governance reaching new heights, the Yoruba lands entered what would later be known as their Golden Age. Art, music, and spirituality flourished. Great cities like Ife, Oyo, and Benin became centers of learning and culture, drawing visitors from distant lands. It was a time of prosperity, yet the people knew that no era lasted forever. They honored the gods, offered sacrifices, and remained ever watchful, understanding that change was the only true constant. As the elders of this era passed on, new leaders rose to take their place. The torch of Oduduwa's legacy was handed to the next generation, who faced their own challenges and triumphs. But the lessons of the past had been preserved, and the wisdom of their ancestors guided them. The Uni, now an old man, stood before his people one last time. "Remember where we come from. Remember who we are," he said. And with that he returned to the sacred grove, joining the spirits of those who came before him. Though kings and empires rise and fall, the story of Oduduwa never fades. His descent from the heavens, the creation of land, and the struggles of his descendants remain the foundation of the Yoruba identity. Even in the modern age, his legacy lives on, in the names of cities, in the stories of elders, and in the spirit of a people who refuse to forget. The Yoruba are a people of resilience, strength, and wisdom, forever carrying the mark of their divine ancestor. And so, the tale of Oduduwa continues, not as a myth, but as the heartbeat of a civilization that stands the test of time.